Esports. It was a bit of a back and forth, but did go the way of DKZ, and now we're settling into Psystorm versus Big Basilisk. Oh my. And I'm really excited for this. Again, Basilisk, they are a big team in the league, and they have proven themselves in seasons past, but this is a Basilisk without Cyril. And they have been struggling a little bit more this season as a result. Oh, so we're just diving right on in.
Yeah. Oh, over here in the top right corner of Dynasty, we have Gerald, who is a blue Brothers player for the StarCraft Navi.
And in the bottom left, we have Trigger for Basilisk BIG. Whew, okay, so we're diving on in already. I imagine, especially because we had very little time and because we have no webcams, this might be played ahead of time.
Yeah, I would imagine so. We're just casting this from replay, or rather the clean feed is from replay. We're casting this from the clean feed, and the clean feed is observing from replay, and yeah, that's probably what's happening. I'm glad that you pointed out that Basilisk has been struggling a little bit here in the league so far, as of tonight, Basilisk is ahead of Psystorm Navi, but only by 2 points. So they are actually right next to each other in the league. Psystorm Navi at number 7, Basilisk, Big Basilisk at number 6, and you know, if Navi's able to win this, or if they're able to get a really good map score, it's not out of the question for them to, well, I guess if they lose despite taking good maps, well, I guess if they lose, they're not going to be overtaking Big Basilisk, but still. Yeah, this is a very important match for both teams, obviously, for Basilisk to try to solidify themselves a little bit more. They are kind of in that middling stage where they're probably not going to get relegated to getting knocked. They're probably not going to get knocked out, but it's still very possible if you know, they have just a few bad if they just have a few more bad days.
Yeah, they need to tighten things up here, especially when it comes to better seedings coming into the playoffs as well. And I'm not gonna lie, whenever you say Big Basilisk, I think of Big Boy Partying. I think I just keep thinking, oh wait, we're gonna cast Partying later. Then no, not yet. Oh, smooch.
I guess that's why they're not called. I guess that's why they're officially known as Basilisk plus ShoWTimE.
True.
And not Big Basilisk.
Yeah, they'll be sued by Partying. As we're settling into our PvP, and so far nothing too crazy. We're loading into Dynasty as our first map, and I imagine this PvP we're going to be avoiding those gold bases for a little bit longer here. It is typically considered to be unsafe and a little bit too greedy to try to take the gold base early on.
In PvP, anyway. PvZ, PvT, feel free, but PvP, you will get punished.
Will get punished. As we do see across the map, ooh, we do see Trigger actually setting up a proxy pylon location on the other side of the gold minerals. Gerald has taken his natural expansion, and Trigger is going to be stuck on one base a little bit longer here. We'll see if he does expand, or we'll see if he does proxy. As there it is, Nexus is on the way.
Like so. Gerald, meanwhile, yeah, also getting his own Nexus a lot quicker than Trigger, obviously, since Trigger was not only blocked, but also did set up that proxy pylon across the map. Gerald is getting vision around his pocket, but I'm not sure it's going to be quite enough here for him.
Yeah, as hallucinations come in and we do end up scouting each other's bases, we do confirm the robo opener of Trigger, meanwhile Twilight Council from Gerald, and with that cheeky pylon, we're warping it right into the natural base, into the pocket.
Yeah, Gerald sees this now, but is the reaction gonna be enough? Sentries do get here, and sentries are very good now.
Yeah,
probably the best. Probably the best defensive unit you can get in PvP, and with that, one adept goes down, the other adept not long for this world.
Yeah, if this was the previous patch, we would have seen a very different dynamic there, but you can see the adepts shut down by the initial sentries. We do manage to get 2 workers, but 2 workers with 2 sentries is a very nice or better trade for the defending player here, as we have at least confirmed the pylon, and I'm sure Gerald will eventually look to shut it down. As for now, we're still just settling into our 2 bases, and Trigger bleeds out another adept.
Like so. Which, as you said, 3 adepts for 2 probes, absolutely not worth it.
Yeah, not worth it, at least initially here for Trigger. Pylon is scattered and shut down. Trigger with that Robo Opener is working towards earlier Immortal production and +1. Interesting style here. So Gerald will have a much more maneuverable army with Blink, but Trigger will have a beefier army with Immortals.
Yeah, quantity and mobility gonna go up against quality and beefiness, as you put it.
Yeah. I'm still thinking about
the Blink versus the beef.
Like beef burgers now.
Oh.
Also, I'm still thinking about you eating straws. Like not even like
I put some thought into that during the break.
Okay.
Like, with the paper straw, right?
Okay.
Or the cardboard paper. You put it in the drink. It absorbs a little bit. So it's like marinated.
Okay.
It's not out of the question to eat the straw at that point.
What are you talking about?
It's flavored.
What do you mean?
Because then it's flavored. It's like marinated.
Do you also eat the cup? If it's a plastic, sorry, if it's a paper, if it's a paper cup.
Well, if it's a paper cup, it'll have wax on it.
Will it? What if you remove the wax?
Well, then the cup dissolves. And like, what you would call it? It gets too heavy. Like it gets absorbed, and then the drink falls down.
Yeah, and then do you eat the cup?
I guess you could, if it absorbed enough. If it absorbed enough liquid, you could.
Shaking my
flavor on it.
As we do have Gerald expanding back at home, going for his third base, going for the gold. And we're checking up even further here as Gerald working towards a really fast bay. Okay, rushing into disruptors. We'll see if we can make use of it because Trigger is doubling down with additional gateways and going for that prism to move out across the map.
Yeah, we're seeing a similar dynamic to what we saw in Hero versus Goku Banda on Oceanborn, where Gerald is going for higher tech. He is, not only does he already have Blink, but he is going towards the next tier. He is working towards disruptors and whatnot, but Trigger is just getting more damage units. He is just getting more beef.
And next time I go to Singapore, I'm gonna bring a bunch of like Macca's paper straws with me, just for you, Yaku. Just for you. And then we'll see what you do with them. Oh god. As yet, Trigger has yet to expand, yet to take a third base, whether it's at the gold or at the linear locations. So we're doubling down with the all-in. Essentially, Trigger is doubling down, he's moving out with a massive army, and can Gerald survive this? Can he slow it down and defend back at home as we do engage with the army? But again, there's no slowing down those Immortals as we are just pushing our way through.
Right down the center. Trigger, he doesn't even care that Gerald knows that he's coming. He is well aware that production-wise, Gerald doesn't have anything yet that can really stand up to this army.
Remember he was rushing towards disruptors. First disruptor is on the way, and can that disruptor make the defense for Gerald? As for now, again, he's down in that supply. Trigger pushing on forward. Force fields are thrown down, and it will be buying some time. Oh my god.
Buying him quite a lot of time. Obviously, no Archons in this army yet. No massive units, so force fields will not be broken.
Yes, we got a massive walls of force fields thrown down. Again, there's no blink for Trigger either, so he cannot advance on past those force fields either. That will be slowing him down, will be buying some time. First disruptor has arrived, and we're holding on to that Nova.
Yeah, keeping it in the chamber. Unfortunately, the same cannot be said about battery overcharge.
Yeah, here we go. We dive in that first Immortal. Nova goes off, does connect!
Ooh, big chunk of Stalkers do go down. A couple of Immortals get badly bruised as well, but that was only one Nova. Trigger, he has enough army that he doesn't care about one Nova.
Yeah, boys are being pulled. Second disruptor has arrived. We do focus down some of those Immortals, but they're still here holding the backbone of Trigger's army, but they're being focused down. Up.
Yeah, I really like the warp in the backline here. In Trigger's backline here of Zelds from Gerald. Pretty much just body blocking those Immortals.
Yeah, but Blink is done for Trigger. He does avoid that. Nova gets 24 worker kills. Now, to be fair, Gerald, he could afford to lose some workers. Like, his economy is still keeping up, if not better than that of Trigger. This is still not enough.
Yeah, not yet. Anyway, battery overcharge. Repops. The Nexus will go down, which is good damage here for Trigger.
Mhm.
Not necessarily enough, but it will be giving him a huge leg up and will be the first step to victory here.
Yeah, and now the entire mineral line's going, okay, now this is enough. Now
Yeah,
the entire mineral line goes down. We have a Nova from behind as well, but alas, we do avoid it. And now Trigger, this 2-base push has snowballed out of control. Now Trigger is expanding behind this. He did just throw down a third Nexus, but he doesn't need it, to be honest. He could just blink over this wall and just go for the kill, go for the throw to Gerald. Just having a really hard time and keeping up with this initial defense. Disruptors, it was a fun option to go for, but I just didn't get what he really needed here in the defense as GG gets called.
Trigger, maybe taking game number 1. I'm honestly kind of surprised at how conservative the blinks have been specifically on Dynasty.
Mm-hmm.
I think it was Trigger now, and I believe earlier it was either Jesha or I believe it was Jesha who also opted not to blink directly into that gold, even though they could be reasonably sure that there wasn't much in the backline. But anyway, we're getting in the bottom right-hand corner of Golden Aura. Blue Protoss for Sisor Navi. Gerald.
He's reasonable.
It's reasonable.
And in the bottom right-hand corner, we have, or in the top left, we have a Trigger for Big Basilisk. Whew, a solid win there for Trigger coming into this to kick off the initial series with that 2-base all-in. Gerald, unfortunately, was not able to slow it down, was not able to amass an army in time to defend against it. But now we're settling into Golden Aura. I'm feeling like maybe a bit of a more comfortable map here for Gerald. Oh my god.
Yeah, so we're getting a quick little pause, but yeah, it's getting fixed. Very quick fix, apparently. Yeah.
Okay. And as we get ready for our next game, Yaku,
Yes.
I'm gonna need you to hold down the fort because I think my Magus is alright. So 1 second.
Here we go. Paper straws are on the way. As to continue our little bit of a cheeky PvP here, we are seeing about what we expect on Golden Aura. Double gates on the high ground from both of our players. Very defensive. Not really something that you can get. You can't really get away with low ground walls on Golden Aura like you can on a map, let's say Site Delta, where you do kind of have that ramp leading into the natural. Cheeky little ramp to make things a little bit more defensive and whatnot. So yeah, for now, normal stuff.
Yeah, standard openers so far, as Yaku was saying, is just 2-gate openers from both Gerald and Trigger. There's no gate expand, there's no hidden proxy pylon out on the map either. With these probe scouts, both Gerald and Trigger confirm that there is no proxy anywhere out there. So again, a bit of a more gentleman's agreement here in game number 2.
Yeah. How gentlemanly, though, is going to be the question, as we saw similar things in game number... Well, I say that, but then I remember that Trigger did throw down that proxy and did go for the that little Adept Scout. It just got shut down. Which is why for a while we had that little... Which is why for a while we kind of had that little armistice between our two players where we're like, okay, that got shut down, so I'm not going to be aggressive. Let's just build up back at home,
Yeah.
And then we'll attack. And then I'll attack anyway, for the side of Trigger.
Exactly, and we'll see if it goes a similar direction. We do see Gerald expanding. Gerald, he does pylon block Trigger, so that'll be a delay on the Nexus by a couple of seconds here. So a nice little lead for Gerald, as we've yet to really invest into any further tech or go for any kind of big deviation. So far, everything is looking by the book, at least so far. See, the paper straws, they marinate. They are the paper straws. I'll have you know, Yaku, they're currently marinating in the sauce.
Yeah, in the sauce. What do you get? Do we get a Milo?
What?
Ice Milo. Yeah. It's like a staple here of Macca's.
Is it? Fun fact. Yeah. I believe
like
we do not have Milo at Macca's. That's crazy.
What?
God no. Why does Singapore have Milo at Macca's?
It's like a staple here, yeah. You get hot Milo, you can get ice Milo.
That's crazy.
You get Milo because that's the best drink to marinate.
There you go. I think the reason why we wouldn't have Milo is because everyone has Milo at home. It's like, why would you?
We have Milo at home.
But is your Milo really Milo at home though? Like, what's going on?
Probably not. Because I mean, okay, I don't understand getting hot Milo from Macus, right? But ice Milo, that's a trade secret. Like, they don't sell those on the shelf.
What do you mean? It's just cold milk.
No. It's not.
What's iced Milo?
We've tried doing that. It tastes different.
What is iced Milo? What are you talking about? Do you mean like do you mean like a slushy?
Milo with ostensibly it's Milo with ice in it.
Okay.
But it tastes different.
Okay. They probably just like put sugar in it or something. Like...
Right, that would make sense.
Okay, I see. I understand. But we're selling in. We just see.
They have there.
Yeah, Gerald setting up a proxy on the left-hand side, Blink on the way. Meanwhile, Trigger going for Glaives, not Blink.
Okay, once again, something that we saw, something similar to what we saw from Hero coming out here from Trigger. And yeah, 4 more gates, 5 more gates, massive explosion. I was gonna say, potentially something similar from what we saw with Hero. Trigger going for some Glaive to Depth Harass, gonna try to force it all in, where Stalkers are forced to move into Immortals, and that still is a possibility, but yeah, it definitely looks like Trigger is going to be a lot more active and a lot more aggressive with these Adepts.
Yeah.
Compared to Hero, who only got a handful of them at a time. Really.
Yeah, Trigger, he's going for a 6-gate 2-base all-in. Now, Gerald did scout all the gateways, so he went for his own gateways back at home, and Gerald is the first to push in. He's just walking his Stalkers into the main, depowering some of these pylons, denying some of these gateways.
And that's already going to be a massive boon here for Gerald. Not quite able to depower.
Can he die, Glaives?
The Twilight Council. He's going to blink past the probes from earlier on, and we do get a depowerment on there.
Yeah,
Reynor charge also being utilized by Gerald. He's even gonna recall the rest of his army.
Yeah, he pulls the boys,
force it all in.
Yeah, he recalls the army, and there's barely anything to defend or barely anything to push in back at home. The Immortals get focused down, and Gerald is shutting this down.
Like so. Actually, gonna lose even more probes compared to what Trigger lost.
Yeah, a lot of workers are going down, actually. As we had to pull the boys earlier, we get 21 probe kills. Trigger will take a worker lead, but Trigger also threw away his entire army. He threw away all the Immortals, he threw away his sentries, threw away everything he had. Now we do see all these upgrades kicking in, and we do see our production kicking in, but Gerald does have quite a lead, quite a nice lead here with this.
Yeah, quite a nice army lead, we should say. As, our players are on even base count, Trigger is ahead, so the longer this game goes on, the better it's going to be for Trigger, and Gerald, he's well aware of that. He knows that if he's going to win the game, he has to win it sooner rather than later, and this is a massive window. No shield battery.
Yeah, no shield battery, no overcharge. We dive on forward. The Prism's going to be focused on the Immortal as well, and you can see the Trigger, he barely has anything left here in terms of army. He has workers, but even then, he's losing that lead as well.
Gotta lose one or the other, either his worker lead or this game. And of course, it's possible to lose both, but
yeah, as the workers are all going down, we do see Adepts harassing across the map. And I mean, Trigger, hey, he's able to deal some counter damage. That's true, but this Stalker army, there just is no answer.
Yeah, not when you invested this much into Glaive Adepts. Not when you've taken that much damage to your mineral line earlier on. So that one Immortal earlier, that was pretty much the only hope that Trigger had to really hold against this, and now that's gone. GG, Gerald ties this match that we're going to see tonight in KR and MaxPax. I usually want to wake up at that time, but anyway, here we are on Ocean top left. Blue Terran, foot-sized Navi, Spirit.
And in the bottom right, we have for Big Basilisk, it is ShoWTimE. Let's go. So yeah, cool. As first SCV is moving out across the map, and I think potentially for an eBay block. But I can't remember. how did you get introduced to? Oh my god! How did you get introduced to StarCraft? Like, I see someone in the chat talking about like
TB.
HD and Husky. Oh, TB, he was your first.
Yeah, it was TB. I mean, before I got into StarCraft, I was into the co-optional crew and whatnot. So got into TB, got into Axiom and whatnot from there.
Did you watch?
And then I got into Axiom, I got into Craig's stream, and then I got trapped here. Now I'm stuck with you people.
True. So back then, so you watched? Did you watch the TGS podcast or?
Yeah. I never watched a TGS podcast live, I should say, because I was still like, this was before my sleep schedule got ruined.
Okay.
So I never saw the TGS podcast live, but by the time they got to co-optional, I think I want to say 2015 BlizzCon, that was when I was able to catch a couple of them live here and there.
Okay. That's cool. Wait, so then how did you get into co-optional then? Like, how did you come across? Because for a lot of people, I imagine the reason why they were introduced to the co-optional podcast or the TGS podcast is because they would bring on people like Husky or like Day9 or I mean TB and all the others were there to begin with, but like they'd bring on guests and then they'd be like, you know, that's how they be introduced.
I gotta be honest, I think it was because at some point in 2011, when I was 11 years old, I was a hipster from a very young age.
Okay.
And so when all of my peers were playing Minecraft, I was interested in another game called Terraria.
Okay.
And then I discovered TV's Terraria
There
series.
you go. So was it Terraria first and then the podcast and everything else?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's where it came down.
There you go.
That was 13 years ago.
So look, yeah, true. But that was a great series. That was very popular back in the day. The Terraria series. It never ended, unfortunately. Never completed. But we are getting into our game. The proxy has been scattered. And oh my god, ShoWTimE committing to proxy Void Ray. A bit of a delayed proxy Void Ray all in here from ShoWTimE, but we're committed.
Yeah, might as well. I mean, Stargate already finished up. Void Ray was already halfway done by the time Spirit was able to catch this, so might as well commit. ShoWTimE throwing down more shield batteries. And throwing down more pylons. This is going to be... I mean, this is going to be a tough hold from Spirit, but at the same time, it's going to require a lot of attention and a lot of control from ShoWTimE for this to be effective.
Yeah, a couple of things. I mean, the bunker's already done. Remember, the shield batteries were delayed, which is why this caught me off guard because of how later these shield batteries were. The setup was for ShoWTimE. We have no starport. We are deciding to make the CC instead of the starport, so a little bit greedy by Spirit. This means we have no Vikings to help defend. That means that we shouldn't really have a way to dive on these Void Rays, as we can just pull back and top up the energy on these shields quite easily here for ShoWTimE.
No overcharge, and these shield batteries are quick to run out of energy when they're on the map like this. So yeah, already we can see there's not a lot of healing left available for ShoWTimE, but even so, there are a lot of shield batteries.
That is a lot of shield batteries here. The initial depot is barely holding on. Nice lock on. It looks like finally 1 second does not go down. Oh my god, Spirit holding on just barely. Now he's going from 2 to 3 Cyclones. The Cyclone count is building up quite heavily here. And even though usually Vikings are the answer to this, if we can get the Cyclone count a little bit higher, then maybe this can be enough.
Yeah, we shall see. Cyclones, yeah, they're also a little bit easier to control. They're a little bit easier to kite.
Oh! Speaking of, we shut down one of the Void Rays.
Nice. Done, as our shield batteries.
Yeah, so again, the shield batteries are running out of energy here. We've been burning through so much of them. I mean, the bunker did fall, but it bought so much time to remove all the energy on these shield batteries, and now we're up to 4 Cyclone. Starport finally on the way, but this has been an impressive hold so far by Spirit.
Yeah, especially without any Vikings. It was very patient coming out from Spirit. Like you were mentioning, Cyclones are not ideal against Void Rays in low numbers. But if you can start to get more of them, if you can, get your thrust upgrade, whatever it's called, not Macfield. No, it's not backfield anymore.
Hurricane engines, yeah.
Hurricane engines, yep. Our hurricane engines upgrade.
Okay, if you can get your thrust going, mate, then Spirit, he can pull this off. I mean,
Yeah.
I agree here. I mean, now we're getting into our tank production. No Viking yet as we're going for a medevac instead. Again, this feels quite greedy from Spirit, but he is pulling this off so far. With the help of this tank, we can lay siege upon these shield batteries and start to fight our way and break out of our contain.
Yeah, slowly but surely. Spirit also kind of forcing an unnatural natural here from ShoWTimE. ShoWTimE, as we can see though, not concerned about that at all because he's not planning to get another base. I say not planning to get another base. He is, just not where he should.
Let's go, taking a ninja base on the other side of the map. Let's go, ShoWTimE, really spicing things up here against Spirit in game one. This is never something that I would have ever, you know, attributed to ShoWTimE of all players here, to go into a cheese, to go into an all-in, and to go for a ninja base as well. This is wild. Now you can see ShoWTimE is transitioning. You can see that he believes that he cannot break Spirit, so he's going for gateways and expanding, which means Spirit will have a window where he can break out and then counterattack.
Yeah, we'll have that window, and it's definitely on ShoWTimE to make sure that, you know, the Maur has no... I forgot the German word for window, but the wall has no windows is what I'm trying to say here. Trying to close that window as much as possible. ShoWTimE, I'm liking this a lot. You know, we normally know him for being a very macro-oriented player. Again, his nickname, the Maur, is attributed to the fact that he has some of the absolute best defensive play. But for some reason, against Spirit specifically, ShoWTimE is spicing things up quite a bit.
He really is. Meanwhile, Spirit, he sneaks out with a drop across the map. With the help of the medevac to micro, we should be able to overpower these initial stalkers. Recall across the map, which means we cannot recall back home. Oh.
That we cannot, and these two stalkers are not quite going to cut it. ShoWTimE forced to warp in back at home. And do you think this is a bit of a tell here for Spirit, as he sees that that mineral line isn't exactly saturated?
That's a good question. I wonder if he did take note of the undersaturated mineral line. I believe he missed the recall, so I don't think he confirmed that at least. But we'll see how he's able to piece this together once he does break out. Tanks getting within range. Shield batteries are finally going down, but at least we're buying time. Like, it's taking Spirit quite an amount of time here to eventually break out of this, so ShoWTimE is working towards charge.
Yeah, working towards charge. He's got it, and yeah, he's working towards the next phase of this Templar Archives. Interesting choice. Another ninja! Love to see it. It's not quite a ninja. I mean, you know, if that's where your base is located, then you know, naturally that's where you want to expand.
True. It's a natural expansion. As we have it broken out.
Ninja.
Yeah, natural base being taken here by Spirit. And again, once we have Stim, which we do have, we can work our way through this. Charge is kicking. We dive on top of the armor, but the Marines, they're standing strong.
Yeah, these Void Rays unfortunately not quite able to get on top of the tanks, and yeah, that was not a good time to attack here for ShoWTimE. Spirit gonna break out of this immediately. He's unchained. He can sim. He can win.
He can. The one downside for Spirit is that he does not know where the bases are. He could punish this ninja base so hard because he's right next to it. He can make use of the high ground and lay siege upon the mineral line. He can abuse that base if only he knew where it was.
If only. This is why Scan should cover the entire map.
As he's still going for drop play here across the map. Okay, and again, with this, he can still threaten the main base of ShoWTimE. Likewise, ShoWTimE building up towards his Temple Archives, towards Archon production. No Storm yet. Oh, as ShoWTimE is expanding, taking a third base. It's a bit greedy.
Yeah, a little bit. I had to do a double take here with Spirit's medevac, as I was thinking, are those Marauders? Why would you drop Marauders? But no, those are in fact landed Vikings.
Yeah, I was really confused. I was like, are they CVs? What is that? I wasn't quite sure exactly, but he's going for a Viking drop here, diving into the main base, and again, Vikings do so much damage to workers, they force the recall back home.
Oh, and Spirit does scout the ninja. He saw the Templar archives,
Mm-hmm.
and he knew that is way too expensive for you to be doing this on only one base.
Yeah, and because of the recall, ShoWTimE is basically exposed, and there we go. He has to Maynard out. He has to evacuate his initial ninja base, but it's okay because he's got the natural ninja right next to it.
Natural ninja, I like that.
Hey,
There's a scan, unfortunately, though, from Spirit.
Mm-hmm.
He knows that if there was one ninja, what's there to stop there being two? That one? What about second ninja?
Yeah, and thankfully Spirit does pull back in time to the safety of his tanks. He does clean up the Stargate as well, as I believe it is going to be depowered, or even just shut down. And as long as he can keep up with the army here, Spirit should be okay to continue to expand and take up. Ghost Academy on the way for Spirit. Again, he's content to just take up from here. It doesn't feel like there's too much pressuring or rushing him.
I mean, Spirit is a player who is unchained, really. He doesn't have to rebuild. He already has his 3-base setup, and it's 3 bases where they should be, i.e., on his corner of the map. They're all orbitals. Spirit can tech up, and it's really on ShoWTimE to try to catch back up. And I will say ShoWTimE, I should say, surprisingly even when it comes to the supply. Not too far behind when it comes to the workers, a little bit behind when it comes to the army, but considering the circumstances, we would normally expect this to be way worse.
Yeah, and it's about to get worse. Like, the problem right now for ShoWTimE is that he's down a base. He's just now expanding at his actual natural base back at home. But for the Terran player to be on 3cc against a 2-base Protoss is a terrifying thought. And the production and Spirit, he's soon going to be snowballing out of control. He will soon be pushing out, and ShoWTimE is behind. Like, ShoWTimE, he's still trying to catch up. Storm is going to be a big moment for him if he can get there.
And that's a big, big if. I don't believe we have any High Templar on the map, actually.
Yeah.
Okay, we have one.
Yeah, we're gathering up energy as we speak, but again, Storm is halfway done. We go for the feedbacks on the Ghost. Okay, we deny the EMP.
Yeah, good start, but ShoWTimE is losing a lot of its production, as it is located over here in the Ninja Natural Ninja.
Yeah.
This base.
Yeah. It is. You can see ShoWTimE also getting ready for a surround as well, just waiting for the moment that Spirit does overextend, but here we go, more ghosts are arriving. The minefield is set up as well. Ooh, the mines are not going to be baited out, but Storm is done!
Storm is done and will land. EMP does land, however, so not too many storms. In fact, no storms left. ShoWTimE, he wanted that pincer, but Spirit never gave it to him.
Yeah, very nice stutter stepping out of Spirit. The mine shots were brutal as well. As you mentioned, there are no more storms left. There were no more High Templar. 2 of them just got morphed in, but they need time to gather up energy. And without storms and with EMPs and Spirit, he can break through this. Oh, does bleed out a ghost. A bit of miscontrol there out of Spirit. And we could even potentially feed back those ghosts once again.
Potentially. It's all about the positioning and all about who's quicker to draw.
Oof. Yeah, so we do get an EMP on one of those High Templar. Likewise, a feedback as well, but nice target firing out of Spirit. He does focus down on the High Templar.
And there aren't any storms available as of yet here for ShoWTimE. Spirit, once again, with a massive window to take an army lead. Will take a lead. Will take the game. Will extend Storm Na'vi a little bit. In for now. I had a little short circuit. I keep feeling I keep feeling a sneeze coming on. I'm like on the edge of it. So I have to pause a little bit.
It's okay, Yaku. It's okay. It's
Spirit takes game 1.
He does take into one.
That's all you gotta know.
GG, well played. A solid lead here from Spirits after ShoWTimE had a very spicy game as well. I mean, it was a treat nonetheless to see ShoWTimE go for a proxy Stargate, go for those shield batteries as well. Not something that you really expect to see out of ShoWTimE, but Spirit was so cool, calm, and collected. Like, the way that he approached that as well, not like for him to still go for the racks expand into factory, like he did not cancel the CC, he just made it anyway.
Yeah.
He delayed the starport heavily, was relying on bunkers and cyclones to defend, and there was some close moments there, but in the end Spirit did hold on, did survive it, then he snowballed out of control from there. But yeah, that was an impressive defense from Spirit.
He was so patient as well with that defense. Never panicked, never panicked, never got baited into trying to lock on onto a Void Ray too early or anything like that. As we go into game number 2, in the bottom right, we have our blue Terror player for Size Revi. It's Spirit.
And in the top left, we have for Big Basilisk, it is ShoWTimE.
Okay, and yeah, I feel like that's definitely something when you are defending against Void Rays with only Cyclones available. That is... It's very easy to get baited, I will say. You tend to overestimate the lock-on effectiveness a little bit too much.
Yeah,
And
like
as you said, when you're patient, when you get enough Cyclones, you can start to snowball. But if you throw your snowball too early, it's gonna melt to the Void Ray, so
yeah,
be
it's
patient.
I feel like it's really easy to forget how fragile cyclones are, and like you overextend and then it takes like 2 seconds for the cyclone to be focused down. You lose a cyclone, then another, then things quickly just like escalate in favor of the Protoss. So yeah, just really careful, delicate micro from Spirit. Not just his cyclone control, but also his repairs on the cyclones, his repairs on the bunker and the depot as well. It was really good stuff.
Yeah, we'll get to see. That underestimation of the fragility of the Cyclone, that's the reason why TVT is my highest win rate. Maybe put it that way.
There you go. Like, look at this clown
You'll love
massing
to see
cyclones, mate. Like, what's he gonna do?
Gonna die to Reapers.
There you go. But now we're settling into our second game, and as amazing and exciting as game 1 was, now we're calming things down and there is no proxy setup, this time at least in game 2.
Yeah, not yet anyway, as... Yeah. That was a one map thing, apparently, from ShoWTimE. That was probably a smart move here in game number 2 to not go for another proxy like this. ShoWTimE, obviously, his bread and butter, his strengths do lie more in macro play, more in defensive play. So for him to switch the table so strongly, on the one hand, did catch Spirit off guard. But on the other hand, Spirit was also able to defend. So I think it's probably good for ShoWTimE to go back and focus more on his fundamental strengths, I should say. Spirit is a little bit more paranoid not this time, though.
Yeah.
Diverting the Reaper from going straight across the map to checking out the proxy locations.
And we do see a very interesting build here from Spirit, as he is going for his 3 racks follow-up. This is before the starport, but after the factory. So quite an aggressive start here. As nice juggling from Spirit. He does save that SCV, at least for a little bit longer. But again, a much more aggressive follow-up build here. And this could be the beginnings of a 2-base all-in from Spirit.
We'll keep our eyes peeled. If we see a starport, that's going to confirm it. If we see a CC, that's going to confirm the opposite.
Yeah, we'll keep an eye on that production tab. For now, we do see a blink-based opener out of ShoWTimE. It looks like just 2-gate blink into a 3rd for the time being, into a 3rd Nexus. Something a little bit more economic. As you mentioned, right, like ShoWTimE just pulling back on what he does best, right? Like his strengths are more standard macro play, and it feels like that's where we're headed for ShoWTimE.
Yeah. Definitely feel a lot more confident for ShoWTimE as well, if this is the case. Even if Spirit opts to go for that aggressive build, as Tank is on the way, Sim is on the way. We should be seeing a push pretty dang soon coming out from him, but as I said, I'm feeling a lot more confident for ShoWTimE, if that is the case.
Yeah, when it comes to the aggression of Spirit, it is going to come down to the scouting of ShoWTimE, whether he can spot the army ahead of time, slow it down, confirm the build, because as you mentioned, like, we have really early tanks from Spirit, we have early stim for Spirit as well. That's why there is no starport. The gas was spent on stim and combat shield, so again, this is going to be very strong timing for the Terran player as more tanks are on the way. This can lead into Spirit pulling the boys. He could opt to pull the boys with this as well, just hit that much harder. And whether we do or not, again, ShoWTimE needs to confirm.
Indeed, it does. Observer making its way across the map, and once it scouts the tanks, once it scouts the tech labs, I think we should be seeing a bit more of a map presence here for ShoWTimE. Like you said, it's very, very important for the Protoss player to be able to get little pickoffs here and there before the Terran player is able to really entrench themselves. Oh, on the other side of the map, that was unfortunate here for ShoWTimE.
Yeah, immediately an Immortal starts. This is what I was worried about, is that we needed a safety Immortal as well. The Immortal has begun, but Spirit is going to be committing, and I believe Spirit has pulled the boys. We're going for a big 2-base all-in. Stim is almost done. You can see the boys being pulled on the right-hand side. We do not catch the Observer. The Observer, it looks like it will escape. What about the army?
We'll get caught, we'll get body blocked, we'll get flanked by these SCVs. But they won't take too much damage. In fact, they might... Yeah, they end up delaying Spirit a little while longer, and those additional seconds may just be the difference.
Oh, we have force fields.
One Immortal is out. Yeah, we have force fields.
Yeah, very nicely done here by ShoWTimE. It does slow down the army. There's only one tank left. I believe we ended up losing a tank earlier as well, so... speaking of, a reinforcing tank is going to be sniped. Very nicely done here by ShoWTimE.
Yeah, love to see it. Forces a bit of an earlier stim as well here from our Terran player. And once again, Spirit is all in. Exactly. We're not taking up from here. We're not getting a starport. We're not getting medevacs.
And the starport, I mean, we already pulled the boys as well, so even less economy back at home. The longer this goes on, the better it is for ShoWTimE as he does push forward. He has now 2 Immortals, and with that, he can focus down the bunker. It barely survives. It gets focused down, and now the tank is exposed.
Yeah, bunker not going to help enough. I would say repairs, on the other hand, that's going to do a ton. Yeah, it does get sniped. Battery overcharge now popped, however, and that's going to be enough to chase Spirit back.
Yeah, but every stim is just killing Spirit as well. Like, his army is overstimmed. We have maybe one more stim in the chamber. Tanks pushing on forward. We'll be sieging up, but we can focus on one of the tanks before they can siege.
Like so. And the other tank doesn't have much of a buffer remaining for it. All the SCVs go down, and all the Marines are left vulnerable. GG, ShoWTimE going to be tying us up 1-1 once again. We're going to be going into our third match, 2-2. Into our third series, 2-2.
GG, well played. Again, Spirit trying to catch ShoWTimE off guard with that 2-base all-in, but ShoWTimE was able to confirm it, was able to slow it down, was able to pick away at the army, whether it was picking off those SCVs, catching the tank in the center of the map as well, and was able to get into his Immortals in time. So again, just really nice scouting and map presence from ShoWTimE. And now, it all comes down to this. It all comes down to MaxPax versus Reynor.
PVZ to end the night. Whew. A little bit of a classic one, I should say. One that, as you were mentioning, we're a lot more accustomed to in something like ESL NA, Open Cup NA, Open Cup EU, or even the ESL Masters EU as well. MaxPax definitely one to play in a lot of regionals, at least when they're online, but since Reynor relocated to Korea temporarily, yeah, we haven't been able to catch the two of them. Reynor is obviously not gonna wake up too early or stay up too late, and likewise for MaxPax, you know.
Yeah, so because of that, over the past couple of months, as you mentioned, we just haven't seen these two face off. We haven't seen them compare to each other, so I'm really excited to see how they shape up here. Just because MaxPax obviously doesn't compete in offline events and doesn't compete in the Korean weeklies, we just have been deprived of MaxPax vs Reynor for far too long, but finally we're going to get it once again in this best of two. This could go either way. What I will say as well is that even though Reynor has been struggling a little bit against Protoss players, it's been specifically the Korean Protosses. You know, I'm talking about Hero, I'm talking about Classic as well, I'm talking about Nightmare. That is where Reynor has been struggling a little bit more, but the Korean Protoss are more aggressive, far more aggressive than MaxPax.
Oh yeah. At least the current name MaxPax, right? I still remember back when MaxPax unveiled himself to the world when he did debut the Marjorie, but actually I don't think it was the Marjorie, but no, he popularized it at the very least.
Yeah.
So yeah, back in the day when he was a very aggressive player, nowadays seems to be taking not being as aggressive anymore, being much more of a defensive macro player. I still like to believe he has that little bit in him, but we shall see. It's, like you said, been a while. Oh lord, it's been a while since we've been able to see MaxPax versus Reynor, but I also feel like it's been a while since we really saw that much, or as much of MaxPax as we did in previous years. Obviously, he's still very active in the EU scene. Obviously, he is still playing in ESL Open Cup EU and a lot of the other regionals as well, but specifically in the past couple of weeks, because a lot of other players have been traveling, I feel like we really haven't been able to see MaxPax in that when he's up against, a real top tier player.
Yeah, I agree. Like, it's been a while since we've seen MaxPax against a top Zerg player specifically, because in these online weeklies, we've seen actually a bit of MaxPax versus Solar, but I don't know if you've seen them play these past, 2-3 weeks. Solar's been hyper aggressive. Like, time and time again, Solar has been going for, proxy hatch, one base all-in, rushing into the gold. Like, it's just been pure all-ins from Solar, which means, we haven't seen much high caliber mid-game PvZ from MaxPax, which is what I'm looking forward to. I'm looking forward to more of a back and forth here, and I'm definitely excited for this series. When it comes to MaxPax's playstyle, I think Reynor's going to be a little bit more comfortable against MaxPax, but in saying that, MaxPax is still good at what he does, right? And this could go either way. I would not be surprised if this even goes to the ace match.
Nor would I. I'm excited to see some mid-game PvZ. I'm excited to name a Danish build. I'm excited for MaxPax to unveil that here.
Let's go.
It's probably gonna be a similar build to what he normally does, but now I'm actually focused. Now that's actually in my mind. We need to find and figure out what the Danish build is. So
there you go, the Danish paper straw.
Yeah, the Danish.
Oh no. I'm ready for it, baby. I'm ready for it. For now, we're just waiting for our players to get ready and to sort out their lobby. Also, what are the predictions looking like for this ZVP? Okay, so we have 42% in favor. Oh wait, no, never mind. Oh my god, we have 85% in favor of the 1-1, and we have a couple of people predicting 2-0 for MaxPax. No one believing in the 2-0 for Reynor.
80% or whatever you said. I feel like that's 85. Still too low for a 1-1. 85%. That's still too low for a 1-1.
Let's go. I mean, again, I understand the logic behind going for the 1-1 scores. That 2-0, I think that's 1 or 2 people going for the 2-0 for MaxPax. I can see that as well. I do feel like a little bit sad not to see any faith in Reynor. I think a part of that may just be because Reynor hasn't been as successful in Korea. Also, that looks like is that a hotel room? Is Reynor still in Korea?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought he went back.
It's not good. Yeah. So that's like a week or 2 left. Anyway, we're gonna get things off here on Amphion, bottom left, blue Protoss. MaxPax.
And in the top left, we have Reynor for Big Basilisk. Okay, so my apologies. I just assumed that after DreamHack Dallas, Reynor would have gone back to Europe, but no, it looks like he's still in Korea.
Yeah, you can't return yet, It's like how Dark can't shave yet. Reynor can't return to Italy yet.
Fair enough. That does mean that ping is going to be a bit of a factor here, but it's applicable to both players, so it's still going to be a fair matchup between the two of them. Probe Scout coming in, Reynor opening up 15-15.
As we have gotten pretty accustomed to, the build, I mean, not the ping. Although, I have to imagine Reynor, he still does practice a bunch with NA and EU players, so I have to imagine that Reynor might be a bit more accustomed to high ping than the MaxPax.
I would hope so. I don't know if you remember, but it was during DreamHack Dallas where he was asked like if he was practicing with Cyril in the lead up to it, and he said, "What, you think
Oh
I'm going to
yeah.
practice with Cyril on NA? No." So he straight up said he doesn't practice on with the Europeans while he's in Korea.
Ah, makes sense.
So that could be a factor if he specifically avoids playing with a little bit of ping. For now though, it is going to be a gate expand, standard opener by MaxPax. Reynor with the 15-15, he's been quite fond of it, very fond of that kind of opener here in this matchup, just to be very safe and to make sure you aren't forced to expand elsewhere.
For now. I guess this is a little bit map dependent. I was gonna say a little bit map dependent as well when it comes to getting an unnatural natural being forced upon you, but not really. The most I can imagine is probably post youth, but even that's not. Even in that case, you still want to be able to get your hybrid rather than not.
Yeah, definitely. As we're just kind of settling into our game, it's going to be a Stargate opener out of MaxPax, working towards, I imagine, Oracles. And this is kind of what we expect out of MaxPax, just a Stargate opener into a third base into the mid game. We have seen MaxPax go Twilight Council before. He has, shaken things up in the past, but that's more of a rarity here. And he might opt to mix it in, maybe even in game 2, but for now in game 1, Stargate.
Yeah. Very safe opening in PvZ.
And with that, he can eventually be active on the map, he can harass, he can threaten the Mineral Alliance, his adepts are moving out. And this is something that MaxPax uses to great effect. Like, we've seen him time and time again go up against these big Zerg players and just pull apart their attention and cripple their economies early on with a handful of units. Right now, this is going to be a bit of a skill check here for Reynor to keep up with the aggression of MaxPax.
Yeah. This is where ping comes into play. Not really. A good scout here from MaxPax. Obviously, he is able to confirm that Reynor is mining this wall.
Yeah.
Should be able to confirm the third as well.
That's actually really annoying. Like, Reynor, his third base is going to be delayed, and can we even try to focus on that drone? Oh, one of us! We can! We do force the gas, guys. Oracle arrives as well, and Reynor is going to be stuck on 2 bases that much longer.
But yeah.
Oh,
way more than he would like. Oracle's here, obviously, and once again, that's gonna delay the third and deter the drone. Doesn't quite go down. I thought it did, but it didn't. Finally, we're getting a third hatch.
There we go. We have finally the third hatch on the way. Reynor was delayed for quite some time, but we'll eventually get it up and running. But already a nice start for MaxPax to be able to throw a wrench in the works and to, just try to force some more inefficiencies out of Reynor.
Yeah. Really, have these little things start to stack up, ideally anyway, and disrupt his groove, make sure that he can't actually get to his build, and get to your own build behind that. As we see what that entails for MaxPax, we're not going to be sticking too much on Stargate, so again, very standard out of him. Switching to more of a gateway-focused army as we get into our mid-game.
Yeah, we have the Forge, the Twilight Council with Blink and +1. No crazy fast Twilight Council or anything like that. It's at a standard timing here, and MaxPax is going to be able to get into his third. Reynor doesn't really have any way to apply any pressure to the third base, as Reynor is still expanding. Like, this third base for the Zerg player is just so late. And we'll see if MaxPax can abuse that as he tries to catch some of these transferring workers, and it looks like, he does get a couple.
Yeah, once again, Reynor cannot be happy about this. It's been delayed for so long. We do see a Roach Warren on the way. And I'm keeping my eyes peeled for the upgrades once this lair finishes up. I don't believe we have an Evo chamber yet, do we?
Yeah, not yet here. But this is again a standard timing for the lair, so not like sorry for the roach warren, so I'm not kind of rushing
Yeah.
into roaches or some kind of all in. There it is. It looks like we did have the Evo chamber for +1 melee at least, and MaxPax setting up a proxy location to reinforce, pushing on the left hand side. We'll see if Reynor can keep up. Thankfully, he's making 6 roaches, so he should have a force to defend. Hopefully, he's going to be in position.
Yeah, ordinarily, this third base location is supposed to be a lot more defensible. And I suppose it still kind of is. I mean, you know, MaxPax has to go up this ramp, but it's still going to be very annoying to deal with all of these stalkers warping in right on top
At the same time, a massive ling run by here at the natural base. You can see it on the minimap. It is flashing, but the oracles, they turn back around. Massive stasis on the army. Oh my god, we can dive on top of these queens. Not the best start here for Reynor as queens are going down.
Yeah, and because Blink finished up here for MaxPax, it doesn't even matter that the stasis is body blocking. He just stims on for it, takes out roaches. Gonna be able to take out a queen, and there's just not much of an army remaining here for Reynor.
Just a very strong start from MaxPax. He's going to be bleeding out some of these oracles, but again, he picked off 2 queens, picked off a good amount of roaches, and the momentum is on the Protoss' side. Blinks are looking solid here from MaxPax. The Stalkers are just soaking some hits, getting onto the roaches. The roaches, we're bleeding them out one after the other. Expensive losses here for Reynor.
Too expensive, one can definitely say. As MaxPax, continues to blink beautifully, impeccably. Everything is going to go down for the Zerg, and with that, this is
we're just snowballing.
Tough.
We're snowballing out of control. The boys are being pulled as well. In a moment of desperation here. Reynor does not have an army. GG gets called, and MaxPax will take a 1-0 lead.
Just like so.
Oh, the smooch!
The smooch!
Let's go!
Here we go. This is This is not just Smooch, this is Smooch Plus. He's covering the mouth.
I'm ready, Papi. The zoom in! The production team knows. They know that the Smoge is real and the Smoge is powerful. Okay, so for those who are unaware, Zerg players, really, they go Super Saiyan when they turn off the lights, right? They put up the hoodie, maybe they put a hat on as well. On top of that, they just need to embrace the darkness here. And it happens quite low with Zerg players in WTL.
Yeah. I keep expecting Reynor to just pull the strings on the hoodie, just close it off. That's full Smoge.
For a moment there, I was waiting for him to get up, walk across, and turn off the light. But this is essentially Reynor unlocking 100%, right?
Dark side, yeah. Turn to the dark side, getting his power.
Here we go.
From his point of view, Protoss is evil. Protoss is OP.
Oh yeah. And our map of choice is going to be post-youth. Interesting. Now, to pick a map like this, there's a couple of different ways we can approach this. We could try to rush into the gold and go for a 3-base all-in. Especially with the hoodie coming up, that is a big option here for Reynor. But likewise, I'm sure MaxPax is aware of the possibility of that and is going to be a little bit more attentive when it comes to scouting his opponents.
Oh, go mute us. Hey, everybody left, we have our blue Protoss player from Sidestorm Navi, MaxPax.
And meanwhile, we have for a big Basilisk Reynor in the top right-hand corner. Our red Zerg player. Once again, going for a 15-15 opener from our Zerg side of things. Meanwhile, MaxPax opening up in a standard fashion as well. Again, winding it back in that last game, MaxPax did go for, it was, I believe, an 8-gate 3-base all-in, and the stasis was insane, and again, MaxPax quickly snowballed out of control. I imagine MaxPax will take a different approach. I would not be surprised if he opens up Twilight Council this time.
Yeah, I guess it is a little bit more defensive. I don't know why, but on post-youth, every time I see Protoss or Zerg on it, immediately my mind thinks the air. Immediately my mind thinks, okay, this is a good map for Mutas, so that means it must also be a good map for Skytoss, right?
True.
Right? Not necessarily, but We could end up there regardless.
Yeah. I mean, late game is definitely a thing in ZVP on post youth. I just don't think Reynor wants a longer game, right? Like, maybe I'm
now
reading.
with the Smoge,
Yeah, that's what I mean, right?
That's the other thing about the Smoge, right? Is you put on the hoodie, you raise the hood, it starts to get hot,
right,
and you can't remove the hood until after you win.
right.
So that's like motivation.
Okay. Exactly. You're on the timer. Otherwise, you're gonna pass out.
Exactly.
Huh. But we'll see how this all comes out.
Gradually, yeah.
Now, Reynor has gone for the pocket base as his natural, which means unlikely for Reynor to go for the gold as his third. So we're not going to be rushing to the gold base for an all-in. We can still go for one. We can still cut workers earlier on. So we'll try to keep an eye on the worker count. We'll try to keep an eye on the lair timing and the roach timing as well for Reynor. Meanwhile, MaxPax chilling back at home, going for a Stargate opener.
Which, yeah, it's a good map for mutas, so why wouldn't it be a good map for Phoenixes? Yeah, it just doesn't make any sense.
There you go. And speaking of Smoge, a massive shout out to Miguelito, papi. Oh my god. Papi, ¿cómo estás? ¿Qué tal? Thank you so much for the raid, Vindicta. Hope you had a great stream. Hope you had a great ladder session as well. Welcome, everyone. Welcome to potentially the final game of the series here tonight in WTL.
Gracias. Sí. Todo,
Yeah? Go on.
todo, potentially, un momento map, un o más.
There you go.
Aber.
Yeah, we haven't done the Spanish intro in so long that you're losing your Spanish, papi. What's going on? What's... Oh, but we are following back on this, and interesting. Okay, so it's not going to be a Stargate opener into triple Oracle into triple Nexus. That is a gateway explosion. That is very fast gateways here for MaxPax on 2 bases.
Yeah, very, very quick switch. Have your eyes peeled for a forge, reducing an evoke chamber. Get thrown down now for Reynor. See if it's bailing a range.
Yeah, so MaxPax does take a third base, but that is after the 3-gate setup, so it's going to be 4 gates in total for MaxPax. It looks like he's going to be harassing with vanilla adepts early on. No other tech structure of choice yet, as the Oracle gets across the map, gets a couple of drones, 2 workers go down, we force out some spores, but ooh, that's a lot of hull damage on the Oracle.
Yeah, very unfortunate time to run out of MG. Very unfortunate position to run out of MG as an Oracle. Reynor makes his way across the map, gonna be harassing quite a bit.
Yeah, it does deny the pylon and looking to force a cancel on the Nexus as well. The Lings are going to surround on the Adept, so nicely done here by Reynor, causing a lot of havoc here across the map. But it looks like eventually MaxPax will gain control of his third base. We have plenty of Adepts to work with. Lings are forced back.
Like so. Lings are forced back. Lings are in production. Bailing Nest on the way. It's gonna no Roach Warren, but I guess you don't really need one if you know that your opponent doesn't have a Twilight Council, isn't really going for glaived adepts.
Yeah, Reynor, he's playing macro here. He's embracing Ling Bane, definitely, but he's getting into a lair at a reasonable time as well, is now taking the goal base, so a bit of a longer or more macro setup here from Reynor. Meanwhile, MaxPax is... His build is a little bit wonky because of the earlier gateways. His forge is a little bit delayed, so upgrade's going to be a little bit later here for MaxPax.
Yeah, not by too much. Is this allowed, by the way? Playing macro, I mean, after embracing the Smoge?
It's illegal. It's illegal, man. Yeah. But yeah, he might still be able to bring it back here. I want to believe in the power of the Smoge. He's using it in ways no one has thought to use it before. As we're working towards +1 and Blink, so MaxPax just chilling back at home, being a little bit more defensive here. And yeah, I'm kind of liking Reynor's position. It almost looks like MaxPax was expecting Reynor to be more assertive, and because he wasn't, like, MaxPax is not in the most ideal position anymore.
That he is not. He switched to more defensive play, and Reynor, now well aware of it, he is playing super greedy, double expanding, and one of his expansions is, of course, at gold base.
Yeah, we have the double expand on the way. We have a mass amount of links as well across the map. The links are not at home to defend, so this Stalker push is going to find some damage here as we get on top of the Queens, getting on top of the gold. At the same time, Reynor going for the counterattack.
Like so. Not quite able to break into the main. Might be able to get damage done in the natural. You know, quick wharf in of links. Quick round of links. Gonna be chasing away the stalkers.
Yeah, very nice control out of MaxPax as the Ling run by does nothing. It actually kills one Stalker, I believe. Does force back the Oracles, and it does alleviate some of the pressure, but doesn't get any counter damage done as 4 drones went down. So still a successful push there by MaxPax, but at least Reynor is holding on and his base has survived.
Yeah, his base has survived. He hasn't taken any probe damage whatsoever. And that Robo Bay is now on the way.
Yeah, we're able to catch out some of those Lings. Meanwhile, big Ling counterattack here on the left-hand side, getting into all these gateways. We do force some cancels here, so not a bad counterattack by Reynor. Just keeping tabs and keeping MaxPax busy back at home. And Reynor is trying to work towards Ling Bane Hydra into, I imagine, Lurkers.
Potentially, as the Hive is still on the way. Lingbane Hydra, a little bit more of an old school composition, but one that can still have potential to work out. Is the advantage of going for the gold, by the way, as well as getting your hybrid base. You get 2 Lurker Dens.
Yeah, there you go. We have Lurker Dens on the way. It's going to be for those upgrades for eventually that Lurker transition that we did mention. And I don't know if MaxPax can really break his opponent anytime soon. I mean, we are making 2 Colossus at a time. And those Colossus, against all things light, can put in a lot of work, but Reynor already has the Hive, and he has the answer to Colossus. He has the Vipers. They're coming. They're on the way.
2 of them, in fact. As Reynor does need to buy a little bit more time. I say needs to buy a little bit more time. He has a lot of links to go with. MaxPax, the onus is absolutely on him right now to try to slow this down. But just looking at the supply difference, that's going to be tough to say the least.
Yeah, it does blink away, does avoid the surround. The first Colossus is going to be revealed, but okay, now we're getting up to 2 Colossus. We can still be active. We can still try to push out across the map. We had a very nice stasis trap here in the center as well to catch out a big chunk of Lings. And without Lurkers, this might be a difficult defense for Reynor. Again, still just relying on purely Ling Hydra to defend, but here come those Vipers! Oh!
Okay, gonna try to get a yoink. MaxPax being very safe with his Colossus, though. Not leaving them anywhere near the Stalker army.
Yeah, and 1 Viper got sniped. Really nice movement out of MaxPax. There's 1 Viper remaining, and Reynor has to be very careful with it. You can see MaxPax getting in position to zone that Viper away. Again, his goal here is to shut it down.
Yeah, no high Templars, no feedbacks or anything like that. As you mentioned, his best bet is to just blink on top of it. Meanwhile, I have a massive Zelt run by.
Yeah, it does drag all these Lings back home. Lurkers have a right. Viper pushing forward, and we do get a yoink. We get 1. We get 2.
Like so. 2 more where that came from, though. The backline here from MaxPax.
Yeah, but a really nice start for Reynor, shutting down 2 of those Colossus. Ooh, the Viper is going to be sniped, so no additional Vipers remaining for Reynor. But now he has his Lurkers. Like, he survived long enough to get a wall of Lurkers, and that is forcing Reynor out. Sorry, that's forcing MaxPax out of Colossus into Immortals.
Like so. Colossus are pretty good siege units, but they do get outranged. Or they can get outranged by upgraded Lurkers.
Yeah, we dive on the arm. We get a full surround. Stalkers going down. We catch the Colossus. We catch the Immortals. And very quickly, everything's swinging in Reynor's favor here. Getting ready for his own counterattack. Oh, he does pull back, though. Doesn't want to overextend. But he caught every single robo unit.
As that saying go, when the backbone falls, the body crumbles. That's pretty much what we saw with those Colossus going down. Reynor continuing this momentum. MaxPax trying to fight back with whatever he's got. A little bit careless, though. Lose one of his Archons and a couple of his Stalkers for not much in return.
Yeah, exactly. We tried to bust in, but Lhasa Lurkers, they held their own. Big Zealot warping into the main base is a good way to buy some time, but Reynor still being very active and still trying to dive on this army. Big Link counterattack headed towards that towards the main base. We do have a full wall up, but here come the Lurkers towards the center map.
Right on top of this ramp, right on top of the siege line, right on top of this mineral line. Already started fall, Colossus. Getting a little bit low, taking a lot of hull damage. Cybercore will fall. Not fall. What?
Yeah, the Cybercore does barely stand strong, but we get Lings in the main, Lings in the natural, Lurkers at the goal base as well, and everything is flashing red, everything is on fire. Reynor, the smudge, the power is real as we are looking to tie up the series and force the ace match. MaxPax is holding on just barely, but he's bleeding out too many bases, and another Colossus gets yoinked.
Will get taken out. Immortal will fall. A lot of Zealots on the way, but what is Zealots going to do against Lurkers? GG.
GG, well played. Reynor able to collapse on top of MaxPax before it could really hit critical mass of Immortals, really critical mass of Robo units, and yeah, just like it would make sense to have a MaxPax Reynor ace match, right? A game 3 between them. Ghost River is a very small map though, so I don't know how comfortable MaxPax is on Ghost River. I mean, if he's confident, right? If he feels like he can defend on it, then we can embrace, you know, a more defensive style out of MaxPax there. Does Reynor believe he can keep things going? Is the hood still up? Does he still have the power with the smudge? That's the question.
Is he allowed the power of Smudge after activating it and playing macro?
True.
We'll see. I do have to agree with you there. I'm actually feeling, honestly, from Sidestorm Na'Vi, I'm feeling Spirit for Ghost River.
Oh.
Feeling a Terran player. I'm feeling that this map does favor Terran quite a bit, and I feel that not just Terran, but also Spirit's a more aggressive playstyle. So I do feel like Spirit will have a really good choice, no matter if it's ShoWTimE, if it's Reynor, if it's Trigger, which I guess it probably won't be Trigger because those matches were on replay, so we can probably assume that Gerald and Trigger aren't going to be options. But yeah, against ShoWTimE and against Reynor, I feel like on Ghost River, Spirit would have a pretty good chance. And he did take a map off of ShoWTimE earlier tonight, and historically has been able to go toe-to-toe with Reynor. So yeah, that's how I'm feeling from Sidestorm Na'Vi.
Yeah, we have options. We have options here, whether it's Spirit or MaxPax, whether it's Reynor or ShoWTimE. I feel like Reynor is more the obvious pick for Big Basilisk, but again, it comes down to the teams, it comes down to how the players feel, and also comes down to who they think they're going to be facing off against, as well, as I'm sure both teams are going to be trying to predict their opposing player and trying to counter that as well. So yeah, the pressure is definitely on right now for both Sidestorm and Basilisk.
It's got to be a PvP. I changed my mind. If we're gonna have an ace map, it's got to be a PvP.
Yeah, like, man, give us MaxPax versus ShoWTimE, Bobby. Let's go. Could be. That could be what comes up next. I mean, for those who maybe don't know, we didn't cast it, but ESL Open Cup Europe was earlier this week, and ShoWTimE did defeat MaxPax in the PvP.
Yeah, you did. But it is going to be a rematch. It is going to be not just a rematch, but also a bit of a tiebreaker here, specifically for our two players, MaxPax versus Reynor, on Ghost River.
Oh,
is what it all hinges on.
There we go. Okay. Yeah, as you mentioned, we have MaxPax and Reynor coming up next, so it is going to be Ace versus Ace. Oh, and the hoodie, it's still up for Reynor.
It's still up. Well, we see a bit of a cheeky smile coming out from him this time, so. And a little bit less Smudge and more, what's a Jedi version of Smudge?
What is the opposite of Smudge? True.
It's just living. Touching grass.
I don't think I've ever experienced the opposite of Smudge, so I don't know. It's a unique feeling, but Reynor, he might have it.
Right. Well, is it really the opposite of Smudge, or is it just the Smudge, but the opposite side of the coin?
Sure. Is it like Peepo Happy or something? Is there an emote for that? It's okay.
Probably is. If there isn't, emote makers, get on that.
There you go, there you go. As for now, we are just going to be getting ready here for our next game. Again, it's going to be Ghost River for the finale here. Regardless of how this goes, one game left for the broadcast tonight.
Yeah. And just, as a bit of a reminder, because I kind of forgot in the middle of it as well. If MaxPax is able to win this map, Storm Na'Vi will overtake Big Basilisk.
Oh, yeah.
In the current standings.
Yeah, right now they are neck and neck. They are neck and neck here. At least Storm and Basilisk are. So the winner of this series will take a lead in those standings. So what is it going to come down to here? As players are getting ready now, especially after what just happened on Post Youth, where we saw MaxPax playing opening very defensively, and it did kind of set him behind a little bit. It's tempting to open up defensively here as well. I feel like we could be seeing like Stargate opener into Fast Twilight Council into a delayed third. That's like a very popular kind of play style on Ghost River that can do quite well against all-ins. Question becomes, does Reynor all in on Ghost River or not? Right? Like, what are we doing on the ace match?
I'm feeling Phoenixes.
Okay.
From the side of MaxPax.
Okay.
Side of Reynor, I'm feeling German Taxi.
Okay.
Soul Metro.
There you go.
If that's he's assimilated that.
Mm-hmm. Fair enough, fair enough. I believe predictions may have already been open in the chat as well, so best of luck for those that did place their bets for who will take this in the end. Again, our players just
Danish
prepare.
Downtown.
Danish Downtown.
Yeah, I just potential build name,
Uh-huh.
So that to me is evocative of Swarm Toss.
Okay.
Danish Downtown. Yeah.
Okay. Why is that? Why?
Because I mean, I can't actually say why that is because I'll get copyright strike. But anyway, our Ghost River, and over here in the top left-hand corner, we have a blue Protoss player for Storm Na'Vi, MaxPax.
And in the top right, we have a Basilisk. It is Reynor. Here we go. We're settling on in. And MaxPax already moving out with his initial probe scout to delay the expansion, to disrupt the opener of Reynor. Reynor is not going for a 15-15 for the first time in this best of 3, or in tonight's Team League matches, is going for a much more standard hatchery timing instead, but there is a probe in position to force the unnatural natural.
Reynor doesn't skip a beat, doesn't try to fight the probe at all, just immediately heads to the third base location.
Oh yeah.
He's gotta have something planned.
He knows that he cannot.
That's not intentional.
Knows that he cannot stop that from really being denied, so he does pull back here towards that third base, as you did mention, and we're just kind of easing our way into the openers. Again, Ghost River, the rush distance by ground is actually very short, which is why I was alluding to potentially seeing an all-in from Reynor. There's going to be a lot of mind games, a lot of metagaming going on, just because we also, or at least I also expected aggression out of Reynor in game 2, and I think so did MaxPax, which is why he played defensive, and Reynor macroed instead, so it's Reynor becoming a little bit more unpredictable here in this series.
Power and smooch.
True.
As yeah, my eyes are definitely a bit more glued towards MaxPax. As like you said, Reynor we would normally expect to be aggressive, and I'm sure this game is no exception to that. I mean, it's a good map for aggression. He also did take the unnatural natural, which on the one hand it does leave him a little bit more vulnerable. On the other hand, does give him a little bit of an earlier launch pad, so I'm expecting aggression from Reynor, hence my eyes are a bit more on MaxPax to see if he decides to play more defensively, if he decides to take advantage of the short rush distance himself.
Yeah,
pretty soon.
Definitely could be an option for MaxPax. And there it is, a Twilight Council opener out of MaxPax. Okay, so aggression is on the table from our blue Protoss player. This could be Glaive Adepts, it could be DTs, it could be a combination of the two as well. Big tell would be just our gas count at the natural base. But regardless, MaxPax is looking to be in the face of Reynor.
Yeah, sooner rather than later. MaxPax will confirm. We have some saturation over here in the unnatural natural.
Yeah, it does confirm saturation. The Overlord Scout is going to be pushed away and denied as well, so Reynor is going to be in the dark as to what MaxPax is up to. Meanwhile, we can see additional gateways on the way. No additional tech yet, and interesting, this could be Glaive Adepts, but it could be Glaives without the Robo.
Yeah. Or it could be Charge.
Could be charged, but we have our upgrade of choice. Okay, so Glaives are on the way. 3 gates is also going to be 4 gate Glaives. Again, there is no Robo with this, so this looks like a more macro variation of Glaive Adept. Usually, if you skip the Robo, or if you delay it the way that we have here, we can afford a third base. Again, because of this Robo timing, I don't think we're going to be waiting for the Warp Prism, but we'll see.
Yeah, and there's no real need to wait for the Warp Prism either on a map like Ghost River. Just warp in, you walk.
True. We can see Reynor.
That's a real Danish way.
There you go. There you go. We just see a Roach Warren thrown down for Reynor. Meanwhile, we've pulled back into those gases. Bear that in mind. And yeah, the first wave of Adepts is going to be walking across the map from MaxPax. Meanwhile, Reynor is amassing Lings. Reynor playing very safe as MaxPax is getting ready to, I imagine, expand. Oh.
We imagine.
Okay, so he's going for the Prism, but again, it's going to be coming in a little bit later. So there's kind of like layers to this Adept aggression from MaxPax's. Adepts a shade into the third base and in towards that natural. 2 drones going to be going down. So far, nothing amazing. So far, we have held.
Yeah, so far. But so far, we also only had 2 Adepts. The rest of them coming into match. Dark Shrine on the way!
Okay.
Let's go.
I was curious because, again, we saw MaxPax pull back into those gases, so there are layers to this. It's initially 4-gate Glaives into delayed Dark Templar. And if we don't have any spores, these DTs could just end the game.
Absolutely could. Reynor gonna try to break through the Stalker, but MaxPax gonna be able to plug that hole in the wall.
Yeah, Lair is on the way for Reynor as well. Adept's going to be threatening that natural, threatening the main, threatening the third. So far, no major damage dealt. Reynor is keeping up, and safety spores are on the way. We have a spore in every single mineral in the natural and the main base. They are on the way.
Slowly but surely. There's one already in the third, so.
Oh,
there we go. We got to target it down. Not quite. It would be too obvious.
Yeah, we get 11 drones instead.
However. Yeah, which, not a bad compensation. Consolation.
Yeah, a really nice start because we get into the natural as well. Another drone goes down. Damage is finally being done. This did catch Reynor a bit off guard, so a very nice start for MaxPax, getting 12 workers. With that, MaxPax does take an economic lead, and MaxPax is expanding back at home, is taking a third base.
Okay. Darkshrine did finish up, but I guess MaxPax isn't really feeling too optimistic about his chances for Dark Templar as we have spores.
Yeah, again, with all those spores, I mean, MaxPax, he saw the spores as well, so he knows that DTs aren't really going to do anything, so it doesn't waste any resources. Again, he's expanding back at home. His Adepts are still being very active, and we're building up Immortals. Again, those Immortals are so important to defend against a counterattack, as Roach Speed is on the way for Reynor.
Yeah, it's really important right now for MaxPax to be able to just keep these Adepts alive. As you were saying, Roach Speed is about to finish up for Reynor, and Reynor wants to counterattack as soon as possible. There's not a lot of distance to traverse on Ghost River, so yeah, that counterattack's going to be right on top of his face. These Adepts need to live, need to delay the push, need to provide a buffer.
And they did a great job dealing economic damage earlier. We do have a scout in towards the natural. The Dark Shrine has been confirmed, and now Reynor is getting ready for his push. Now, thankfully for MaxPax, we're in position. We have sentries, we have force fields, we have that Immortal production as well. Already 1 Immortal with the main army. And Reynor is cutting workers at 64 so far. But no, we're teching. Infestation is on the way. Reynor going for a longer game.
Not what I expected on Ghost River. Least of all from Reynor, but okay, I'm not against it.
Reynor is teching and has cut workers for now, is just producing roaches ready for the push from MaxPax. Ling Runby comes in, but MaxPax does react in time. Very nice warp in. Meanwhile, we have caught some roaches.
We have caught some roaches. Of course, we'll get a delay reinforcements quite a bit. Juggling is good from MaxPax, but there's only so much room that can really be spared in the warp prism.
Yeah, we save the Immortals, but we don't save the Gateway Army, so not a bad trade from Reynor. He did bleed out a lot of roaches, but was able to hold his own, does have a good economy behind this, and he does force back MaxPax's army. Reynor taking up, and he's droning, working towards the hive.
Slowly but surely, hive already on the way.
Yeah, hive is in production. We have +1 range as well. You can see Reynor being active with his army. Now, I don't think Reynor really intends to try to break MaxPax, but he's just keeping MaxPax honest, keeping him busy back at home, making sure that he doesn't feel too comfortable getting into the mid-game.
Yeah. Gonna try to make sure that he isn't too greedy, and if so, punish him severely for it. Okay. I got worried for a second. I thought Reynor was gonna just bypass the army, go straight to the main, but nope, thankfully not.
As he does just maintain control of the center of the map. We have the Hydrogen on the way now. With these Hydras and with that Hive, this should be for Lurker Tech. Just like the previous game, Reynor should be rushing towards Lurkers. Meanwhile, this time MaxPax doesn't really have the best setup for the mid game here. Like, the Bay is now on the way, but no Colossus yet, no mass Robo production yet. Yeah, I'm really liking Reynor's position overall.
Yeah. Got a really strong elastic defense, mobile defense force with these roaches. He is just saturating his bases. He's on a 4 or soon to be 4 base economy very, very soon. And of course, he's just taking up as much as possible, taking up at a much quicker rate than MaxPax 1.
Yeah, I mean, Reynor, he's maxed out, and even though Reynor doesn't have the best army, like, it's enough to survive. Like, Reynor should not be dying anytime soon. He should be able to hold on to any kind of aggression. And as Reynor bleeds out roaches, we're going to be replacing them with Hydras, with Lurkers, with Vipers as well. Like, Reynor's just refining his army.
Yeah. Just, yeah. Thermal heads on the way. Yeah.
It's all good, Pappy. It's all good. But yeah, we have that 4th base on the way. As you said, we're working towards our Robo production, towards our Colossus. Only 1 Robo for the time being from MaxPax. But you can see him trying to be active, trying to trade with Reynor's army, and thankfully he doesn't bleed out too much here. Just trying to be as active as possible. Here comes the first wave. Here comes the Lurkers for Reynor.
Yeah, vanilla Lurkers for now, but Vipers are on the map, and they're going to help a ton. We get the yoinks. Can we get the yoinks? We do yoink. Oh. An immortal. And a warp prism as well. Unfortunately for Reynor, not that much anti-air.
And not that much anti-air. The Roach Ravager a little bit too far forward. The Lurker's a little bit too far behind, so a bit of an awkward fight for Reynor. The yoink does come in, but we can save the Colossus with the prism.
Yeah, we save the Colossus with the prism. We save a lot of Stalkers with a blink. Now Reynor is pushed back. He's going to have to lick his wounds a little bit.
Yeah,
this is a good position to keep Lurkers on, but already we have detection, and MaxPax is just going to clear that.
Yeah, I was going to say that Reynor, he has no support for his Lurkers. Every Lurker goes down. A very nice fight here from Reynor. I believe it did cost him the Immortal, and it did cost him a lot of Stalkers. Like, that aggressive blink was not the most efficient fight.
Questionable,
but
yeah.
Yeah, we don't have any Lurkers to defend.
And sometimes that just might about be enough. We have 2 Colossus, and the only units remaining in this Protoss army are Zerglings and Hydras, both of which melt to Colossus. But with the Warp Prism going down, there's still more micro potential with this.
Yeah, the yoink comes in. We yoink the Prism, we yoink the Colossus as well. A very clutch defense here by Reynor as he's setting up back at home and even going for a big counterattack. MaxPax in a lot of trouble. Takes so long to replace and replenish those Robo units. We spoke earlier that MaxPax had a really rough time settling into the mid game here, and Reynor, momentum is on his side.
Just like so. As we see, the remnants of MaxPax's army out in the map trying to get some done, but it's not going to be enough. GG, Reynor. Gonna be taking the W for Team Big Basilisk.
Let's go. GG. Well played. Reynor with a thumbs up towards the end there as well. We'll take this. WTL does go on for the entire weekend. Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. 3 days straight of WTL action.
Indeed, we shall have all of that. Yeah, very important matches as Twisted Fairy and Starlight Twinkle are both towards the bottom of the bracket. Starlight Twinkle actually facing elimination, potentially elimination.
Yeah.
So a win over Twisted Fairy here would absolutely be huge if they can get it. I mean, Twisted Fairy is still a force to be reckoned with. Shopify Rebellion and Mystery Gaming, however, actually neck and neck.
Yeah.
Once again, they literally tied in terms of series of map score. So that's going to be a bit of a tiebreaker. That's going to be deciding who will take a lead here. I don't want to say who will advance because we're still very early. We're literally not even halfway done with the group stage or with the round robin stage. But a tiebreaker here will really, I think, be not necessarily emblematic, but be a sign.
Yeah. Again,
of how the rest of the round robin will go.
Momentum is going to be really important here for these teams, and again, these wins and these matches are really important for them when it comes to the overall standings. But we won't be casting WTL tomorrow. For those that are curious, if you've been keeping up with our schedule, with our calendar, our weekend is going to be quite busy. And yes, tomorrow is going to be the House Galactic Battle. That is going to be a 14-hour event. I think we casted for 15 hours last time. So it's going to be an entire day of StarCraft with the House Galactic Battle. We will be catching up with WTL throughout the week. So we won't be casting it tomorrow, but we'll do like a replay cast in a couple of days during the week instead to keep up with what's going on. So yeah, if you're interested, if you want to tune in to a Polish only LAN event, it is happening tomorrow and will be the official English stream for that event as well.
Woo!
Oh boy.
Boy, the Polish lands, man.
Yeah, they are quite intense. So it's gonna be a lot of fun. So if you want some more spirit action, some more Gerald action, I'm sure they're gonna be there at the event.
They're nice, but they're pretty wild as well. You know, they have a good time over there in Poland. A lot of memes.
Oh yeah. Definitely. Tomorrow's also going to be the KSL. If I wake up early enough, I will cast the Korean StarCraft League live. Otherwise, because of the House of Galactic Battle, we might decide to skip it. So very tentatively, we'll be casting the KSL. Just because, again, the House of Galactic Battle is going to be a big all-day event, and I want to make sure that I'm awake for it at least. So that's going to be on Saturday. Sunday, we will be casting WTL. WTL will be on Sunday. Sparkling Tuna Cup as well. Again, a full weekend full of StarCraft.
Yeah. Kind of getting back to our regularly scheduled events. Not for too long, as, again, next week probably is going to be Home Story Cup, so...
Yeah. Home Story Cup is going to be a big one. That is going to be tying up a lot of us. Sorry, that's going to be in 2 weeks. Sorry, in 2 weeks' time is going to be Home Story Cup. But yeah, that's right around the corner as well. So that's going to be a big factor when it comes to delaying WTL and other events. Otherwise, thank you so much for watching, everyone. Thank you so much for the support. We're going to be rating another lovely StarCraft streamer. Yaku, thank you for joining me today.
Yes.
Thank you, puppy.
Thank you for having me.
And I'll have Yaku back on for
some lovely matches.
Yeah, I'll have you back on for potentially ESL Asia on Monday.
Yeah, probably ESL Asia. Be on Monday down the line, and we'll see you then.
There you go. Thanks for watching, everyone. We'll see you guys next time. Until then, ciao. Bye. Ciao.
Bella.